everybody. If you could take your seats, we'll get started. So I hope everyone enjoyed the lunch, and thanks once again to Nichapa and TSEB for sponsoring today's lunch and today's event. Yeah, very nice. Okay, so we're going to jump right back in with another session, and it's really my honor and privilege to introduce Margaret Ma Conley. Margaret and I actually both started out at the same company, Global Sources, quite a few years ago. Global Sources, which has come up a couple times in today's discussion, as has Margaret's current company, Informa, and previously UBM. Over the years, I've watched Margaret's career go from strength to strength, from Global Sources to UBM, where she headed up China, and now she's CEO of Informa Asia. Obviously, that's going to be a big job integrating the two companies and building success, bringing those two companies to build more success in Asia. So please join me in welcoming Margaret Ma Conley to the stage.
Thank you, Mark. Good afternoon. The lunch was wonderful. And for me, this is a great pleasure to be back in Seoul. I was just chatting with my colleague, CQO, last night. When was the last time I was here? Actually, now memory came back. It was exact 5 years ago. UFI Congress, that time, was also hosted in this great city. I sat on a panel. The topic was about the generation Y and Z for our exhibition industry. But quickly, 5 years passed. Now we have a lot more young people coming up, and I feel kind of old. But it's a great honor to be back. I know today we've already talked about Informa, UBM quite a bit. I won't repeat what already been mentioned, but hopefully to give you more insights about our combination and the future together forward. So as to this particular story, it was the biggest news for trade fair industry last year. But this actually, to us at UBM and Informa, this was a long time coming. If you have read some of the background story, these two London headquartered groups actually started first talk to each other, attempt to make a merger happen back in 2008, when I just joined our North America UBM technology arm at the time. Back then, UBM as overall size was a lot larger than Informa. Informa, through acquisition, become a very, event-led, primarily also a lot of deep content conferences type of organizer. So at the time, there was an attempt by both parties come together, try to make a all-share deal, but news leaked a bit too early. So Informa stock went way high. UBM decided to back out of the deal. But since then, in the last decade, actually two groups tried to make that happen again. This is, in fact, the third time. But this time worked very well. But of course, Informa is now much larger under Mr. Carter's leadership. So Informa acquired UBM. So what does it really mean? Of course, everybody talk about size. Size definitely matters. We're now clearly, in combination, the largest pure play event organizer globally. But really, this is a good marriage. If you really look, two parties come together, this is probably the best combination with a lot of synergies geographically, although also industry sector-wise. I will go into a lot of detail later. But now we look at the overview. Before, UBM was a FTSE 200 company. Together, we're now FTSE 100, so it's sizable. Stock listing already combined, Informa stock. And also, if you look at the revenue size, this is 2017, and soon you will see our annual report for 2018 has grown quite a bit from this 2.7 billion base. With a combination, the key changes to Informa Group's revenue mix is actually more than 60% is now exhibition revenue in the global exhibition division. And together, we now have over 500 events, most of them are B2B, because UBM brought 300 to this mix. And this geographic map basically tells its own story, why geographically it's such a good fit. UBM is obviously very strong in Asia. In addition to Informa's foothold in Shanghai and coverage in Chengdu and Guangzhou, UBM have so many more offices, especially in Southeast Asia. We in Asia together have 35 actually, offices, with now GMA in Spain. I will count as 36. But Informa is strong in elsewhere, like in Middle East, Dubai, and in emerging market like Africa. They're in Sydney. We are all strong in North America and South America. So that's a great fit together. 11,000 colleagues come together. This is actually the structure early on into integration. Now it's still changing because we have this 1-year accelerated integration program. We're now in phase 3. So what it means, if you look at Informa, really now coming together is 4 major divisions. We have academic publishing. People in the education field know a lot of titles very well. We have BI. Some of UBM's events actually moved from the UBM technology portfolio over to BI, like Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. Education content-led, but also with a sizable expo component, and the Black Hat in cybersecurity. That has also moved over to BI. And knowledge and networking, that's an important portfolio with also a lot of conferences in finance, in biotech, etc. And the global exhibitions, we fully have integrated most of the UBM events together, make that the largest division of Informa business overall. So what does it really mean beyond the size? In my personal view, size is important, but really what defines a leading organizer is the earlier keywords you have heard this morning, quality. Not just quality in event platforms, in product offerings, but also quality in teams, in people. So together, we think we're definitely much stronger than before because the synergy and complementary coverage globally. So in terms of market position, you can see we're already first in Asia. That's before the combination. And together, we've combined a Brazil business. We're also number 1. In Canada, Informa has a very strong foothold. UBM didn't have too much. Middle East, pretty much Informa, life science, electricity, their portfolio is really, really strong. In the US, combination of 2 equals. Our largest market, more than 50% of our revenue globally still come from North America, United States. This is a chart I probably don't really need to dive too much in. Everybody probably have seen it. With combination, that's largest. But where to go from now, that's really what we need to focus on. So in Asia, just go a bit deeper, we're also the leading organizer in mainland China. In India, a lot more development now with new venues being built. And also in Southeast Asia, since the All World acquisitions. In many countries like Indonesia, we have a very strong positioning and very strong teams on the ground. So this is the new Informa in Asia where we are today. So earlier we talked about geographies. So through the combination now, teams are already actively exploring various geo-adapt opportunities, bring some of the Asia brands to like Egypt, because we never had an Egypt office, but Informa has. Not only have office, they have very strong local teams, knows how to work the local relationship and get new events off the ground. We're very complementary in sectors. UBM Asia traditionally had been fairly strong in consumer goods, but Informa brought us new sectors. If you look at the key leading brands, the construction, their life science, so there are more opportunity for our Asia colleagues too. There's a lot of experiments both groups has done over the years in non-boost revenue in digital. We are now making very concentrated effort in creating new digital products. If you pay attention to some of the Informa market news release lately, I think it's in November, we've announced we set up a new business unit as part of the Informa Global Exhibition called Informa Advance, led by a gentleman called Jan van der Valk. He used to lead our CPHI global portfolio. He has now moved on to lead this digital-only and revenue-generating business unit. But of course, this is an important investment for the future. We already generate a sizable revenue from digital, from various divisions. Asia, as a percentage, is still relatively low. So for Asia, overall non-boost revenue accounts for about 4 or 5%. And among this revenue, really 1/3 is pure digital. We could do a lot better because these revenue right now just clustered in a couple of key verticals. But a lot more could benefit with some of the early prototyping, proven example, as well as leveraging the technology infrastructure. This is very close to my heart. During the lunch, I chat with some of our fellow colleagues. I did not come from this industry. I actually came from digital. Mark probably knew back then when Global Sources hired me, I was in Seattle working for .coms, developing e-commerce platform as a technical project manager. I know this is not easy. UBM Asia has bravely explored some potential partnership in this area, including Alibaba, our O2O2O prototype. We have learned a valuable lesson from that partnership. One is, event is really powerful. That's why I stayed in the industry for now 10 plus years. It's a human connection. We can't get away from that, despite all the digital connection out there. But still, our buyers and suppliers, more than 40% of them now are actively using online to source, to seek information, to find supplier. So we can't ignore their marketing spend, their time spent. It's now spread across face-to-face media as well as online. So we need to make investment, but be selective in the area that really makes sense, very closely linked to our event strategy, especially in the key verticals. So together, you will see a lot more brands coming together. This is not comprehensive, but you will see from Informa side, where we're not that familiar with yet, come with strong brands like Vita Foods or Natural Products Expo, World of Concrete, mentioned this morning, Surface, our Monaco Yacht Show, Miami International Boat Show. And in Korea, of course, UBM has more to offer. We have Secon, the leading security show. We have food and hotel. We are clearly the market leader in general food and nutrition, as well as CPHI in this beautiful venue. So look at some of the key portfolios. So Informa historically has successfully adopted vertical management structure in many geographies. In Asia, we tend to be very much local geography driven. But now we're coming together as more of a hybrid, where vertical leadership, we see synergy, we will have a clear leader leading it. So David Bondi, many of you know, from legacy Informa structure, has now joined our Asia board as the senior vice president. One of the vertical he's now leading is beauty. Because together with our Cosmoprof Asia, Cosmoprof India, and the CBE in Shanghai, together we already have the biggest beauty cluster globally, working closely with Bologna Farah. So we're also looking at how to work together with our Asian colleagues. We have 9 shows with the latest edition, ECMI. So we have altogether about a dozen really leading shows in Asia. So beauty as a vertical has very clear strategy forward. And also jewelry. We have a lot more in the region. The leading ones are in Hong Kong and in Turkey, Istanbul. Many new ones coming. In India, we have a lot of regional shows. So that together now is a portfolio together with very strong media and online offering. Earlier, part of that digital revenue is actually coming from JewelryNet Asia. And we have planned to really upgrade to the next edition. Then food, through All World acquisition. That's our leading portfolio in Asia. And a lot more new launches. Last year, just around this portfolio, we had 8 new launches. Some are turning the biannual event into annual. Some are brand new annualized launch. And a lot of them will continue for many years to come. Food shows with a lot of experiential elements built in, competition, chef contest, etc. Lifestyle show, actually a lot of you are familiar with, including the baby show and our leading furniture. And some of them start to develop its own geographic network of shows, including CBME India, in Turkey. E-cigarette show is new. That's in Shenzhen. Although it's not that big yet, but with a new venue, this Wallbound show will be able to take life its own 2020 and beyond. Already become the largest B2B show of the vaping device in the world. And Pharma, I probably won't dive into too much, but Informa brings our leading show, Arab Health and the MedLab in the Middle East. We see a lot more opportunity to go upstream, where MedTech, CPHI is, to more downstream into finished products. So advanced manufacturing, both sides actually has quite a bit to offer. UBM always strong in packaging, but now Informa also brings a lot more in construction-related area, also other advanced manufacturing like our shows in US. So that is an area we will develop. What we're doing internally is instead of creating too many verticals, we're setting up 8. We call it virtual verticals. So facilitate cross-border teams to at least loosely form a working group, designate a leader, a champion. The champion could sit in North America or Asia of that particular vertical to organize meetings, maybe on site at one of the leading events, to put together a map so our salespeople can talk about the global story, then explore cross-marketing and cross-border sales. And there are many more, so I won't go into a lot of those. But Informa, for example, in agriculture, we started some grassroots development in Asia, in Taiwan, in Shanghai specifically. But Informa has a lot of resources in this area, not just in events, but also in content. We will leverage those. But together, the key, I think, what will make us really strong is actually people. We found 2 companies culturally in the integration process were very similar. Both organizations are very, very practical. And we think people are the most important resources we have. So together, we'll make a lot more investment in our teams. And when we say people, in our dictionary, it's broader, actually. Not only our full-time employees, but also our partners. Whether they're associations and joint venture partners, they're all very important to all of us. So through these, we will actually implement a new series of training and development programs. Before in the industry, especially Asia, everybody knew UBM's international marketing training is really, really strong. We have internal training book, kind of like marketing, 101 of B2B trade show, visitor promotion. But soon we will also roll out a series of training for sales academy. It's all linked to our strategy to not only diversify, to also go deeper in the vertical. Earlier point David made about focus on quality. Be able to really upsell additional sponsorship, advertising, digital services. Our team also needs to upgrade their skill set. You need to talk to client in a very different way, not just sell square meter. You need to present the whole story, the total value in a package. So a lot of these really work together, part of this training, learning platform. It will be a lot of classroom training, face-to-face, as well as online. Informa has an online learning platform that we're going to adopt. Another key thing for us is really a partnership. Informa actually brought over in Asia 6 new joint ventures. We thought we already got a lot in Asia, but together now we have 16. These are not project collaborations. We didn't count those. These are actually equity JVs. Very different structure in different geography. So beauty is a big one. We also have food in Guangzhou, and our construction events in Chengdu, and beauty in Chengdu again, and a new acquisition of Windor in Guangzhou. So quite a bit going on. But one key for us is, earlier I think during lunch somebody asked David about preferred approach of a North American organizer going into Asia. Shall we set up JV or project collaboration or licensing? UBM typically, now Informa, we always want to go really deep into the collaboration, prefer equity JV, but we're open to start from project collaboration. A secret of success working our partner all these years is, although we own majority, but our partner with us, whether it's boardroom, formal setting, or informal discussion, we're at least equal partners. And on many occasions, we actually really respect our partner as if they are the majority, because they're so deeply embedded in the sector they're working in. So that's the key. And we always try to add value by bringing in additional training, cross-utilizing a lot of databases, or help them to internationalize. So that's really the key. Both companies very much have that in common. So really message at the end is together, although we're big, but we don't want to be arrogant. We're still very humble. We want our team to be nimble to work on the ground, to look for additional new partnership opportunities. Here in Korea, I see still many more projects we could partner with you on. And the right person to talk to is not me, it's actually Mr. Sekyu Oh, somewhere in this room. He's our president of our Korea business. So if you have new ideas, whether it's new launch or existing show partnership, feel free to approach Mr. Oh. We'll be happy to take this discussion forward. Thank you. Oh, Q&A.
Well done. Yeah.
Thanks.
I'll take that from you if you want.
Okay.
Great. Well done. Do we have any questions for Margaret? Can we get a microphone at the back corner there, please?
Thank you for your wonderful presentation, Margaret. And
welcome.
I've learned that the M&A is the most preferred new market entry strategy in global exhibition industry. But I wonder that when you look up the presentation slide in the morning, based on the Dr. Weber's surveys,
Yeah.
between the UBM and Informa, you guys have the market portfolio, the business portfolio. It seems like they pretty much overlap, and then target market is also overlap. So I was wondering that it might be happen, the cannibalization might be happen or not. So I would like to ask that, what was your primary motivation which you merge the UBM? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So in terms of actually overlap between the two group portfolio, it's actually not that significant. Imagine if we and Reed combine, probably it will be different level of overlap. But the business case behind a combination, although I'm not the best person to answer this because I wasn't driving the deal forward, but really is create more value for the community, leverage the combined infrastructure and also team. There is certain benefits coming to creating a critical mass. For example, back to our people first strategy in terms of training, learning, and development. When you actually create a sizable organization together, at any of the location you have a sizable team, you can actually put more in motion, whether it will be classroom training or additional looking to the future digital investment. If just a small team, on shoestring budget, everybody's multitasking, you can't really specialize. You can't really have segregation of duty. You can't afford people to be away from day to day to actually learn and experiment. So that's something we clearly see down the road, more synergy to come. But back to the question M&A, although together we have the volume, still we have a ambition to continue to acquire. Primarily will be bolt-on acquisitions, but good quality, synergetic. Why, with the size we still will buy versus build. To be very honest, international organizer and very sizable organizer like us, we're not necessarily that good at building everything from ground up. Our rate of success compared to true local entrepreneurship, I think they're better at it. So sometimes partnering, bring their existing event to the next level, utilizing the global network of resources, is the best marriage in heaven.
And the UBM team in Asia is really skilled and experienced at acquiring local businesses and integrating them, right? I mean,
yes.
Over the past 10 years, I think UBM in Asia has been, it closed the most deals in terms of acquisitions.
Yeah, and also the success rate in terms of post-acquisition integration. We have a very agile way of integrating, not really textbook driven, based on each case, each scenario, how it fits into portfolio, fits into geography. It's all slightly tailored to that particular deal case. That's why a lot of deals after the integration has not only reached the deal target, has grown way beyond the original deal case, the financials. So yeah, the key thing is we have on-ground people.
Sure.
Team is fully localized, and internally UBM is very strong in our succession planning. I'm one of the examples.
Yeah.
And years ago, I started to groom my own successor. So different, especially in Asia, our colleagues back then, America and Europe, didn't do quite as much. More of a outside hire, jump in. It's also good, but takes longer time to really get everything going. But in Asia, we have been more systematic in internal talent development and succession planning. Has been one of our secret for success also.
Within Asia, either in terms of M&A or organic launches, are there any geographies that you're most excited about? I mean, China's more than half the market
Shenzhen is clearly
yeah, Shenzhen.
very high on the list.
Yeah. Any other markets?
Southeast Asia, definitely. India.
Yeah.
So these are a high growth market. There are a lot more I can dive into, for example, Vietnam.
Sure.
Although there's venue issue like in India, we start to take tents, or India, our colleague likes to build hangars. We are all creating these new solutions to venue problems. Even in Hong Kong, you would think that's relatively mature. We've split the show many ways already, right? One fair, two venue. In Shanghai now, even with the two giant venue, we're wall-bound. You will start to see shows start to go across the river, both NECC and SNIC happening in 2019. And also like a Hotelex in the German venue. We split vertically, so we will have phase 1 early April. There's a gap time between, and we have phase 2. And now both phases are filled.
Kind of like
It's
the Canton Fair.
Yeah, kind of like Canton Fair, exactly.
Okay, last chance for any questions for Margaret. Yeah, can we get a microphone in the middle, please? It's coming.
Right here.
Can you put your hand?
Yes, please.
I appreciate your speeches. Since you are here today, let me ask, what is your company's strategic approach for Korea? Not only the other country, only I'm concerned on what your direction for Korea marketplace.
Okay, that's a good one. Sekou probably in the best position to answer, but I would say overall we want to be not only the largest, but the leading organizer of Korea. We want to build events that not only really serve the domestic community needs, but also some of them could become more international, regional platform where we have exhibitors leading buyers from other countries around Asia to come into Korea to do business. Because this place, overall, you look at infrastructure, look at the professional level of services, it's really high. So Sekou has a very ambitious targets ahead of him. So all of us, we can support him. Thank you.
Great job, Margaret. Thank you very
Thanks.
much. You gotta stay on stage.
Yes.
Maybe just move to the middle there. Great. Yeah. Thank you.